help me keep the agenda together. I'm actually driving and want to keep safe. So,
more than happy to.
Are we ready, Candace? I think
yes, we are.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for the April 17th.
18th.
18th, thank you. 18th meeting of the Executive Committee of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Planning Commission. Today's meeting is being streamed online in accordance with the state's electronic meeting statute. The requirements of notice, access, and minutes are being met electronically, and the public may watch the meeting live on the Planning, Design, and Development Department's YouTube page. All votes will be taken by roll call, and we will begin with introductions. I am Kiba Samuel, and I serve as chair of the Planning Commission. I'll have Mr. Vice Chair, please.
Philip Gussman, I'm the vice chair of the Planning Commission.
Douglas?
This is Douglas Walton. I'm on the Planning Commission and vice chair of the Zoning Committee.
And the best for last, Commissioner Barbie.
Thank you. Erin Barbie, Planning Commission and Vice Chair of the Planning Committee.
Thank you, everyone. And staff introductions, please, beginning with Candace.
Candace Rory, planning staff.
Siobhan.
Siobhan Davis, planning staff.
And do we have Allison with us?
Yep, Allison Craig, interim planning director.
Thank
And that
you.
looks like it.
Okay, thank you so very much. So last month, I believe we met, so there should be some minutes to approve.
I believe there are
Anybody
two
have
batches of
questions?
minutes even. If anyone would like to make a motion on the March 21st and March 30th minutes.
Before we make a motion, I would like to put in just a simple correction.
Please do.
On page 5 of the packet, I said something profound, but it was somewhere in there. It became Mantra Park, M-A-N-T-R-A Park. I think it's page 5. That should be Montford, M-O-N-T-F-O-R-D Park. And that would be the end of my profundities.
Must have been the accent.
Yes.
Okay, and with that friendly amendment, do we have a motion? Or are there any other corrections, notes, discussion?
This is Commissioner Barbie. I'll be happy to make a motion ensuring that Commissioner Walton's profound statements were corrected for approval of the minutes for March 21st and March 30th, please.
I will second that motion.
Motion by Barbie, second by Walton. Commissioner Guffin.
Aye, yes.
Walton.
Aye.
Barbie.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. Thank you so very much. And we'll move on to agenda topics. And I will begin with just the note that everyone should have received the email that I sent last week or week before. I think it was Friday a week ago, detailing the request for commissioners to be present, participatory, and prepared for our May 2nd meeting regarding the UDO. And solicitation of comments will be coming from staff later on this week, and that those comments from all commissioners would be due around the 27th, on the tour, no later than the 27th, so that they can be prepared for our 5-2 meeting. The purpose of that, and I hope it was pretty clear in the email, is that we want everyone to have an opportunity to make sure any concerns, notes, discussion, thoughts are properly explored by the Planning Commission. Yes, it is the duty of the planning committee to recommend or not, as the email states, the UDO. However, I believe it worthy that the entire commission gets an opportunity in a public space to make sure that their concerns are heard and properly discussed, vetted. And that is the purpose of that email. And I do expect everyone to chime in, even if to say, I have no concerns, or I've already met with staff regarding my concerns, etc. Did everybody, number one, receive the email? Number two, gather what the intent of that email is? And do we have any questions or discussion around the 5-2 meeting?
Chair Samuel, I thought that your email was pretty straightforward, hoping that we get the comments that we're seeking. So no additional.
Okay, excellent. Candace, I think what we discussed was that the email would go out like Thursday or Friday of this week. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I can't remember if we inked an exact date, but is it feasible for that to go out Wednesday, Thursday of this week? This will be, I think we discussed possibly a Google Doc type format where everybody can kind of type in so that they can easily be compiled. Do I recall that properly?
Yes, I think in the email you mentioned the 22nd, but I would like to send it out a little earlier. So I plan to send it out on Wednesday the 20th, and it'll probably be in the form of a Google survey.
Okay.
So that everyone can see what was submitted.
Excellent, excellent, awesome. I think that date works out great. Gives everybody time to get that form returned back to you. Anything anybody wants to add for the 5-2 discussion here, or any questions about the 5-2 discussion?
Yeah, I just, Philip here, just want to touch on Candace. Get me, I'm not the link, but I want to be clear when I want to bring this up to the committee tomorrow and make sure I press them directly, knowing that they've spent a lot of time looking at this already, as we all have. I want to make sure that they're ready for that to come. I don't want anyone on the committee, at least, that's supposed to be looking and voting on this to be surprising anyone, even on May 2nd. So if you have any other info or details surrounding that, like if you know it is going to be tomorrow, even before the meeting, just send me an email saying, yes, it's that we're definitely probably going to go with the survey style or whatever. I'll just, anything I can use to help promote that to the committee be helpful.
Okay, yeah, I can send something to you.
Thanks.
And just to
go ahead, Douglas.
yeah, and just to round out comments from everybody, I'm in a pretty good place with this, probably in about the same place as Aaron is with it. I thought your note was relatively complete. Having been on OAC calls since I think the dawn of time, I believe I have made previous comments and just, I guess, ready for this thing just to get out into the wild and become an active document. That's where I'm at with it. So,
Thanks. I think, gracious, I think the OAC definitely deserves a party after all of this. I do declare there's such thing as long haul COVID. I think the OAC is a long haul for sure. I think that that body has been pretty much in operation for the better part of 4 or 5 years. So I know they're all ready to not necessarily call it quits, but just move on to the next stage. Good deal. A lot of my comment feedback went to staff directly or through the format of the OAC, and I think Commissioner Dustman also. So I think there are many of us who are in a pretty good space in terms of discussion points or having discourse around concerns. But again, just in with a public acknowledgement and also then speaking up as the commission is the intent around the discussion of 5-2. just to make sure that all those personal and other types of feedback are certainly welcome throughout the normal UDO comment process. Us speaking as one voice as a commission will be the intent around the 5-2 discussion. So I just wanted to be clear on that. And I think that if the plan, Allison, I don't think that there has been any change in the plan in that this goes to planning committee for recommendation in their June meeting. Although I would like for them to have planning commission discussion points to kind of hash through in their May meeting. They will have an opportunity to kind of have some final discussion on those points at their June meeting when they make the recommendation, if that is still the plan.
I think we're still talking through the schedule, but at the May 2nd for sure is good. And I wanted to update you. I mentioned that we were scheduling a city council workshop, and that right now, my understanding is set for May the 5th from 3 to 5. And so the timing works out, I think, great, because y'all will have that discussion on the 2nd, and then later that week, council will have a similar discussion. And so I think that will be really helpful in getting whatever, changes and things like that into the draft that will come out later in May.
Good. I'm glad to hear that piece. So we know what the 5-2 discussion will be. Anything additional for agenda topics for June, July?
Can I ask a quick question of Allison? The May draft, that's going to be, I can't remember the date is what it boils down to. It's right close to the public hearing date though, right? Or something?
So no, it's in advance of it because it has to be out, I believe, 30 days prior. So we haven't set the exact date. I think it's been challenging trying to work through the council schedule just because of elections and budget and all of that. And so it's been a little tough to navigate these days. But right now the plan is that the next draft of the UDO will be out around either the 3rd or 4th week of May.
Okay. All right.
A date hasn't really been finalized yet.
Okay, maybe that's why I can't remember the date. I'm just hoping, I'm hoping that we knock out 700 pages this time.
Well, it'll probably be more than 700 just because you're going to have red lines in there. So you're going to add to the amount, at least initially.
Okay. All right. That's fine because I'm good now. Thank you.
Anybody else? Any other comments?
Just a quick question, Chair Samuel. In our last meeting, we talked for a while about the parking and when we would begin kind of delving into that. What is your vision for when we did we land on when that would be, considering we have new commissioners coming on?
Yeah, so I'm hoping to. So there's some things that I can't yet announce before 5-2 that I think may play a part in deciding when that would be, but my goal is to make it as soon as possible. I kind of had to hijack the May meeting for the UDO discussion. As Allison kind of notated, there's some considerations that we have to take into account in terms of council and things of that nature. So our May meeting was hijacked by UDO just so that we can be sure we flesh out all the comments and discussion around that. But June, if we can make that happen, I'd like to start having that conversation in June. Also, there's likely going to be a delay in the filling of openings for our planning commission. And without going into too much detail about that, I don't think that the discussion around parking should necessarily wait. I think that as we, because UDO, just because it gets adopted doesn't mean it stops changing. So I think the conversation needs to continue to flow. And so I'd be open to the June meeting, reserving some of that agenda time to that particular topic item. Again, I just think it's still one of those topics that will be first to really, a lot of folks will be in the weeds in that as we kind of see a little bit more of this innovative development that we're seeing today. And I think it shouldn't wait. Not knowing when these seats will be filled, I believe, like I said, the conversation I think should still continue. There's a minimum amount of time in terms of from the point that a position is posted as open to county or city being able to fill the position. So we've got some time before some seats are filled. Also, if you haven't already, also Commissioner Barbie, I noticed that your name popped up on the announcement for openings. If you could please send your interest in reappointment to Candace so that we can communicate that quickly to, are you a county or city appointment?
That was a city appointment.
Okay. The process seems to be a little simpler than the county's process, so that's a good thing. But so we just have a couple things at play that I just don't feel should wait for seats to be filled, because I just don't think that I think our annual retreat would be a wish list at this point.
And if I could add in too, real quick, I think that parking is probably going to be one of the topics that's covered at the council May 5th workshop. And so it may be one that comes up on the 2nd for planning commission. So maybe a near term and a long term discussion.
For sure. And I think that's what we decided last meeting, is we can do a hit on that now to flesh out some initial thoughts, and then revisit that topic in the fall when we do have full body seated. There may be an opportunity, there may be a reason that committee assignments might change prior to our normal fiscal July 1, just because of some unexpected activity on the commission. So I will definitely keep executive committee informed of that as those things get solidified. There are several things to take into account there as well. So the possibility that we would have someone who is expected to roll off to continue to serve on the planning commission for a couple months is highly likely. There is special circumstance that I would have to get permission from Madam Mayor Pro Tem and Chair Dunlap to extend serviceship for one or two commissioners, just so that we know that we have enough to confirm a vote on UDO. And as I've mentioned several times before, and even in our planning commission meetings, that zoning committee votes are coming down to nitty gritty sometimes. So I'd rather not have any openings on that body. So even if it's for a month or two. So there's just a couple things that I need for you all to just be aware, to see some follow-up before our next executive committee meeting. I just wanted to make mention of that here. Circling back to,
I was just going to ask you a quick question about that. Where are the appointments? How are they scattered amongst city? The reappointments or new appointments are scattered between city and county. And is CMS in this party as well? I know theirs comes through the county, but I assume that they have some recommendation, whatever. I don't know exactly how that process works.
Yeah, so Sam is actually a CMS appointee through the city, and So they do have a say in that, and
Okay.
they, as you probably have read in the news today, they have some very big fish to fry right now.
Turn up the
Chair
heat, baby.
Chair Dashew and I met, I want to say 2 to 3 months ago now, to discuss what they would like to see in place of or in their next appointment.
Mhm.
So we have discussed that, just haven't had a chance to revisit after discussing with city attorney. So we definitely need to circle back on that. I've definitely followed up with her via email, but as I said, they have some pretty big fish to fry right now, which is part of the reason why I'm kind of hesitant to believe that we'd have our appointment at the top of the fiscal year.
Yeah, I just asked the question just because there's somebody that I think might be a good addition to our party, and I wanted to steer that person in the right direction.
Well, please do. Building a pipeline of people who have the understanding of the purview of the Planning Commission.
Yeah.
And the bandwidth to serve on the Planning Commission, as well as the desire, has been quite a challenge. But if you know of someone who is interested, definitely let's put their name in it and make sure that they submit their application. That is a step that cannot be bypassed, and there may be an opportunity even for this to be on BOCC's agenda, one of their agendas for May. So the earlier the better. And please, if you don't mind, share their name with me in a separate message so that.
Okay. Yeah. This is one of those people that shows up to the meetings and doesn't really have to be there. So they're kind of a nerd about it. So that might be a positive. So I'll be making a phone call after I get off here, and I will send you a text with her contact info.
Many thanks.
And if I may ask, if I may ask in the same vein of building our pipeline, I think I heard rumblings of the Planning Academy coming back. If there's someone on staff that could speak to that, I know that that's where I got my entrance into the Planning Commission world. And Chair Samuel, you were in that academy with me, even though you were already on planning.
I remember, yeah.
I think that's a great way for us to help promote in the community and share that with our zoning and planning committee to push out there. So I just wanted to hear from staff if that's back on the docket.
Yeah, if it's okay, I can share some information about that. We've got a whole suite of different things that we're working on right now, kind of in the background in preparation for, launching the community area planning process, and kind of at the forefront of that with a goal of being able to relaunch the Planning Academy probably like sometime in the late summer. I think that the bones of what we have, I mean, you all have participated, so we have a great set of sessions that need to be updated. And the other thing is that I can't remember the classes that you all were in, but we've done it different ways and trying to find what's the sweet spot of not too much time, but not too little time that the sessions get too compressed. So I think we're looking at like a 6-session format, so like a 6-week commitment for folks, and then kind of retooling, what we have as far as curriculum right now and updating the handbook. And, as I said, like trying to launch that in the summer, and then looking at trying to do 2 sessions per year. So in the past, we've just done 1. And moving beyond after kind of relaunching it this first time, then looking at what are some other ways that we can improve the sessions or change it up a little bit. And we've got a lot of ideas around that, but the thought is to just get it relaunched and then start making changes after that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, if you'll keep us abreast of that. I think that's a great thing that we can share with community. I can firmly say that the academy group that I went through in that time, I'm sure it was the best. So if you need a reference, go back to our session.
Yeah, we would love to have someone kind of at the kickoff, one of you all to kind of do that for the class, because I know in the classes that you participated in, we've done that different ways in the past, but that would be great. And one of the main goals of it is to grow folks in the community so that they feel confident in participating in roles as you all are right now, and also sharing among, we try to have it so that we have some more experienced folks from community organizations with lesser experience so that they can kind of cross-pollinate. So all of those things are great, and I think they continue to be our main goals with the academy.
The other academy is currently underway, if I'm not mistaken. What's the name of it?
The Civic Leadership Academy. So
Yes.
We've also been talking with them, because sometimes we do get folks in the Planning Academy that really more of what they're looking for is in the Civic Leadership Academy. So that's something we'll be exploring in the future. Is it an offshoot of Civic Leadership Academy? How does that connection, what's the best way to make a connection with the two?
Right. Okay. Back to future agenda topics so that we can kind of round out the call here. Anything additional for June? And Candace, Allison, I don't know if we've made any headway in terms of exploring a potential speaker for that topic, parking.
I think, Candace, we had talked about that Shoop guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no idea what he would charge or anything like that, but it would be interesting. It might be that I would be a little concerned about maybe bringing him in June, right when we're trying to get the UDO across the finish line. Just it might stir more questions. It might be something that we do. Maybe we bring him in after we've kind of gotten that across the finish line and we're kind of seeing how things are working. Certainly open to talking about that more, but I think that's the person that you and I both had mentioned. We've been reading his articles.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think point is understood also. And maybe there is someone more local or regional that we can pull into the fold, even if on a virtual basis.
Yep.
June. So there's this thing that's happening on the 26th of July. Not sure if any of you have heard of it, but
it's my wife's birthday.
Happy birthday, Mrs. Wilson, in advance. Such an exciting day. So June and July are kind of open for, obviously we want to tackle the parking topic. As like I said, I just want to do something a little more exploratory now, and then delve in a little bit more maybe in the fall after full seating. So July is fully open. And I believe that, okay, I saw that. Thanks, Allison. I think that if Aaron, if you know of anyone, I know there's one commissioner who's looking to backfill their own position, so that's helpful. So we're in talks with that person, and they are filling out their application for service. And Douglas, if you could touch base with your person so that they can fill out their application for service, that would be the first step in making that happen. So just really concentrating on getting these seats filled as fast as possible. I'm in person tonight for the zoning meeting, and I have a really quick session with Dave before that happens. So I've got about 6 minutes here where I have to get out of the car. I'm in the parking garage, by the way, if my signal is in and out. Anything else for agenda topics?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Kat reached out to me and mentioned potentially bringing Envision My Ride bus priority recommendations. They are going to tap it in May. So I was thinking that that could be a potential June item.
Okay. Awesome. And I had my question answered about dollars on the ground. I think I asked that in the last meeting. Thank you.
I had one more. I'm so sorry. And maybe this fits in June, maybe it fits in the month after, but the Charlotte Mecklenburg Housing and Homelessness Steering Committee is now ready to begin sharing their plan for execution for addressing housing and homelessness over the next few years. And I served on that steering committee, and so they asked us where presentations could be held. And I suggested absolutely they should come before this body. So all it would take is you letting me know what that could be available, and so we'll get representation from those committee chairs to come and let us know about that plan.
Awesome. Thank you so very much, Commissioner Barbie. I think July would possibly be, and then if not July, and I'm only saying if not July, only because, as Allison has already indicated, council is not really committed to putting UDO on the schedule. And I don't know if they, after their May meeting, if they might kick something back to planning committee or planning commission. So I kind of want to maintain some flexibility for June and July, but if I'm thinking if we bring CAT for June, maybe the housing and homelessness can be for July. We take a break in August, and then our monthly meeting in September is already reserved for the annual retreat. So if it wouldn't be July, it would be October. And I think that's also a hot topic. So I think that would be worthy to bring forth to the Planning Commission.
Great. I'll make some initial, I'll put some initial feelers out there for July. I think that would be wonderful considering the pace that they're moving at right now with getting this out into community. July would be ideal. And I'll let them know that there may be some changes in that depending on what happens maybe externally with UDO. So I'll get that.
Awesome. Thank you. Phil, just a heads up. This is, let's see, we'll next meet as a full body in May. In June, I know we do this occasionally when there's something special coming out of committee, but I would make a special call out for a report out for planning committee in June at the commission meeting. Just a heads up.
Certainly. Good call.
Anything additional? Okay, let's move on to our.
I think we need a couple votes on agenda and calendar still, but there we go.
Thank you. Okay, second, third, yep. Yep. Planning committee, yep. Zoning committee.
Is that zoning committee date in May going to move because we're moving the council meeting? Yeah. I would just suggest that addition be made, and Candace, you can figure out the magic of adding dates or whatever it is. But I think we're moving our. It's from the 16th to the 23rd is when the council meeting is going to be. So we got to be 15 days after that, whenever that is.
So that pushes us to the 7th of June.
Okay. Math, go figure.
If only we could.
Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Any other changes, updates, June 6th, June 27th, Monday, June 20th, and the 21st, planning committee.
Yeah, and I know those due dates for the planning committee could be fluid in the event we need to adjust something, or we might need to add a special meeting. I know if we do come to that for the vote, if something needs to be shifted by a week or two, or God forbid, weeks. But I think that's as good as anything else right now.
Mhm. Well, it's definitely good to have some flexibility in June for planning committee. Okay, anything else? If we're good with agenda and calendars, I'll accept a motion.
This is Commissioner Welton. I'll make a motion that we accept the calendar and with the designated corrections and the agendas for our future stuff we do.
Espen will second that.
Motion by Welton, I think, and second by Gusman. Commissioner Barbie.
Yes.
Gusman.
Yes.
Welton.
Yes.
The chair votes aye. Thank you. And is there anything additional for this meeting?
Wishing you a good meeting tonight. Hope you shine.
Yeah, I think, or they're all good, Phil. What do you mean?
True.
All I'm saying is, hey, let's get this puppy wrapped up and get us out of here at 8 o'clock. How about that?
Yeah. Easier said than done.
Okay.
Said than done. All right. Thank you all. And I'll consider our meeting adjourned.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you
Great
very
day.
much.
See you Monday.
All right.
Bye.
See you, everybody.
See ya.